What does history look like? We're told it often looks like this, or this. We are often taught that our relationship to the past is linear, that the past is a series of histories, a conglomerate of beginnings which we must prophetically analyze to save society from repeating. What if history was taught in the absence of things remembered? To look back would incite stasis, it seems. Like Sarah and James Sibley Watson's 1933 film, Lot and Sodom, we might crystallize at the immensity of what we have left behind. A constant pull to see what we've lost, but not to be lost by the loss of it all. What better way to forget the horrors and devastation of war and racial injustice than to build a carnival atop the wounds of the past? I guess this contradiction of internment camp and carnival, and also the ease and the speed in which communities, my community as a child, could forget such atrocious acts of racial violence, led me to the search for the ever-absent image. Attempting to see if the fair could reveal any of its more tumultuous history to us, we decided to make the 3-hour drive down to Puyallup to visit the spring fair. No quack pack for us.
Boom, 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 boom. Gotta shoot you right down. Take you where my arms. I'm in love with you. Love that is true. Boom, 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 boom. I like the way you walk. I like the way you talk. When you walk that walk and you talk that talk, you knock me out. Light up on my feet, all right, baby. Come on and shake, shake a little, baby. Come on and shake. I know me, baby. You got me crazy. Come on, come on and shake, shake a little, baby. I know me, baby. You got me crazy. All right, yeah.
Although the spectacular is magical, it is not intended to mystify the viewer into the hyper-real stupor we are all too well acquainted with these days. The spectacle is the shock that awakens us from the fortis cycles of work. But maybe that's no longer true. If history fails, could cinema be our guide through these troubled landscapes? When I was a little kid, I got lost at the fair. Among the many faces in the crowd, I couldn't find the ones that belonged to my mom and dad. Eventually, they escorted me to the place where they kept little lost kids, and I waited for a long time. Eventually, my family came and picked me up, and we left. As Tom Gunning quotes Fernand Léger, the potential of the new art did not lay in imitating the movements of nature, of its resemblance to theater. Its unique power was a matter of making images seen.
You can do it at a trot, you can do it at a gallop, you can do it real slow so your heart won't palpitate. Just don't be late. Do the Puyallup. All the people and the animals down at the fair that do the Puyallup like I didn't have a care, and it looks like so much fun to do. I think I'm gonna learn how to do it too. Saw a duck and a chicken down by the barn, kicking up the hay and raising such a storm that I asked the farmer what they were up to, and he said, Puyallup, that's what they do. You can do it in the rain or the sun or the fog. It comes real easy like rolling off a log. Get a partner from Tacoma or Seattle or Fife. They'll even let you do it with your husband or wife. Do the Puyallup. Do the Puyallup.
What makes a place special, uniquely its own? As a kid, I thought that our marker was the big yellow slide, but it turns out that a lot of places have big yellow slides of their own. This was the only ride I personally got to ride during my return to the fair. And like the little girl whose hand was firmly clutched in the safe grasp of her mother's, I also felt the fear of ascendance in the absence of a handrail. Trains have a complicated history, if we can call it that. In both film history and history, the means of fixed movement from one destination to another at the expense of many lost in the peripheral.
The final movement began. At each relocation center, evacuees were met by an advance contingent of Japanese who had arrived some days earlier and who now acted as guides. Naturally, the newcomers looked about with some curiosity. They were in a new area, on land that was raw, untamed, but full of opportunity. Here they would build schools, educate their children, reclaim the desert.
Our mediums of progression expose themselves in the oddest ways. From capitalist dream to novelty ride, we seem to only orbit around our desired destination, like nostalgia for a place that never existed. Tensions were high at the fair that day. Time was tight, and we were having a lot of technological troubles. Like the batteries in our cameras, our energies were fading fast. We looked everywhere to try to find the monument we came here for. We asked a bunch of people, even the security guard. Nobody seemed to know where this thing was, or if it even existed. Turns out it was right next to us the entire time, in a aging smoking spot. Kinda sad. Really sad. Unsatisfied with what we learned and what we saw at the fair, we decided to go to the Wing Luke Museum. Their website said they had photos, videos, and even letters from folks that lived at Camp Harmony during that time. I wanted something real to put in the video, something that could subvert the absent image that I was inevitably recreating. When we got there, turns out that all that material was in collections and it would be too difficult to even get it out. We decided to take a tour instead.
Quatre fois au musée à Hiroshima, j'ai vu les gens se promener. Les gens se promènent, pensifs, à travers les photographies, les reconstitutions, faute d'autre chose. Les photographies, les reconstitutions, faute d'autre chose. Les explications, faute d'autre chose. 4 fois au musée à Hiroshima. J'ai regardé les gens. J'ai regardé moi-même, pensivement, le fer brûlé, le fer brisé, le fer devenu vulnérable comme la chair. J'ai vu des capsules en bouquet. Qui y aurait pensé? Des peaux humaines, flottantes, survivantes, encore dans la fraîcheur de leur souffrance. Des pierres brûlées, des pierres éclatées. Des chevelures anonymes que les femmes de Hiroshima retrouvaient tout entières tombées le matin au réveil.
Is it possible to understand history, to remember, without being there? Is this akin to trying to know another? If we can't even know ourselves, nevertheless another, how can we begin to fathom what a history is? But maybe this is me just trying to sound all existential.